Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast.
And we get the back view of him. And I mean, it's just a mega.
52 yards is a long shot. Magnum PI, what we named him. No idea.
Just a magnum.
Yeah, just a magnum.
Come on, Cam, last year, we said probably 150, mid 150.
Yeah.
Same doe from the morning come out with that 9-pointer.
Here steps out this 90-inch 8-pointer. You're like,
I'm like, okay, well, there's still a buck back there grunting.
Yeah.
And then out steps like another 90-inch 8-pointer. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm like, deer, right there.
Yeah, like
and he's already
yards.
30 yards.
Yeah.
He was literally 5 yards from the base of the tree. Could have been, had a buck down at 1:40 in the afternoon, back there deep on public. 3 does come out pretty early. It was like 245, 24-yard shot, sent the combat veteran, and I tell you what, man, dude, it just smoked. We always get so jacked up when the other person kills. It's just almost like we got it done.
Yeah. And when you killed that doe, I was like, hell yeah, man.
And we come down here to Missouri.
My ass homie one more time. I'm like, is it a good buck? And he goes, yeah, real good, solid buck. I'm like, all right, boom. And the deer just drops. Sure. Super special to me.
Whitetail Legacy Podcast, bringing you back to the hunt and leaving a legacy. Baller Rut.
You're listening to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast coming in your ear holes on this Wednesday. Hope it's a rocking day for you because we got a banger episodes coming at you. We got Joe Myles on. This guy has an epic wall. 30, I don't even know how many deer on that. Too many to count. I know he's killed 30-plus deer, multiple states, 30 big deer, you know what I mean? And guy's been doing it a long time, 48 years old, and just super awesome guy. I'd like to hang out with him. Sounds like we might get the chance, hopefully, if COVID don't shut ATA down. I'd like to have a couple beers with this guy and hang out. But
Ton of fun.
Yeah, we get into a lot of stuff here. We talk about his new YouTube coming out. We get into some awesome tactics. A lot of just solid whitetail-based tactics in here and what you should be doing to try to get it done every year. All right, let's get into the people that make this possible, and we'll get into the show. We'll start out with the VIP. I was shooting combats yesterday. Real solid, man. I don't even know if I'm going to shoot them anymore. Every time I shoot them, they're solid, yeah. I shot 2 yesterday, back-to-back, and I, was aiming different white circles, and I was in both of them. I'm like, man, do you even need to...
And you were shooting 40 or 50?
40, yeah, 40, I was shooting 40, yeah. I tried to shoot 40 all night, and then I shot the last 3 at 48.
Oh, yeah,
I was shooting 38
because I was like,
48.
who the hell shoots 48?
Yeah, well, I mean...
If it's what you got, it's what you got.
Just what the bag was there, and that's where my table was to set my arrows down on.
Right
so,
on.
I was like, 48.
Yeah. honest 48.
Yeah, honest 48.
I like that.
But yeah, I was like, man, I don't even need to shoot these anymore. They're just shooting so good. You had the VIP shout out.
Yeah, this week's shout out is going to be a little different. This week I'm going to shout out Benjamin Fulford. He's a part of the Bow Hunting League, and we just had a one-shot madness shoot-in for a 64-person tournament. It's kind of set up like the one-shot yard league. Benjamin just found out he's going to be leaving early, a month and a half, for a multi-month cruise with Uncle Sam. So he's not going to be able to compete, and he wanted to give his spot in the shoot-in to somebody else. He said he just wanted to know where he fell into the rankings so far, but good luck to everyone on the boots and in the woods this season. So, Ben, I know you're listening, so I'd like to, maybe take the forefront on getting something set up for this guy when he comes back from his tour and, maybe a subsidized package or something like that, because that's pretty noble, Give your spot up for somebody, and you're just going out to do your job. So, Benjamin, we pray for your safety and hope all is well, and we hope to see you come back and be able to get back into probably the one-shot madness next year, because I can tell you right now you're a better shot than I am.
All right, let's get into ECW calls. All your custom calls need the archery range in Roseville, Illinois, for anyone local, is looking awesome. Almost done. He's doing a really nice job out there.
Yeah.
And if you want to pick up any of these calls, we don't mention a lot. They're in Gander Outdoors and Shields, so you guys can pick those up if you're looking for ECW call. Exodus, do you have the trail can tip of the week, or I got some? What you got it?
I'll rip this one.
Okay.
This was actually an experience I learned today. So Exodus offers a Python cable lock for their cams on their website, ExodusOutdoorGear.com, and I ran into a situation today where the tree was too big for the double wraparound and to get into the lock. So I was like, it's not a devastating thing, but it's not the best. But I found out if you're able to position that lock close to the camera, you're able to lock that cable and still be able to run it through. You're just not going to be able to get it all the way around.
Oh, yeah.
It's still basically a double run through.
Okay.
As long as you get it close enough and lock it. Yeah. So they won't be able to, feed it back through. So that was one thing that I learned today that I haven't really heard.
Nice. Homie was out sweating it out, getting some cams on public. So we got all the Exodus out now.
Yeah.
They're all soaking. We know they're going to do solid. Hopefully have some giants on we can move in and kill in October.
Hopefully.
All right. Next level. Do you got next level?
Yeah, next level, we're just going to kind of be shouting out some dealers that they have for you guys to know some people maybe in your area that you can get some product from. I know they are hurting for somebody in Ohio. Somebody from Ohio needs to step up and become a dealer. But if you're not, we have the dealer this week is going to be John Workman. He's located in Ashland, Kentucky. The northeast part of the state. He's a veteran hunter and a professional food plot maintenance technician. You can reach his number at 606-923-1687. And John will get you hooked up, or if you know Kyle Gross. They're kind of running that together out of that area, so they will get you hooked up with all your next level needs. And if you guys are just looking for more information on Next Level, you'll be able to find that at nextleveldeer.com.
All right. Ingram's Outdoor Accession, all your taxidermy needs. A lot of bucks rolling out of there lately. Been a busy man. This heat going, I bet you he's got that air conditioner cranking out in the shop. So all my local guys, you're looking for a new taxidermist. He's solid. Got a lot of good bucks coming out of there. Great price. Great dude. Great friend. All right, let's get in the show. All right, we got Joe Myles on the line. Got huge respect for this guy. This guy's wall is insane. He's been hunting for a long time. A lot of giant bucks from multiple states. It's an honor to have you on here, man.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all having me. Great podcast y'all got, by the way.
Yeah, thanks.
You.
Well, we put quite a bit of work into it. It doesn't seem like because we're so loose on here, but we're dads and full-time railroad workers, so scheduling this thing is pretty hard. So I appreciate you working with us on the scheduling and getting you on here.
No, for sure. Absolutely. I love to talk deer as much as y'all do. So any chance we get to do that, we can make it happen.
All right. So for the few people that are listening that don't know who you are, go ahead and let them know a little bit about you.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm obviously Joe Myles, live in South Carolina. Had a pretty hardcore dad that loved to whitetail hunt. And basically when I was 12 years old, he handed me a 243 and said, good luck. Go figure it out. And that's kind of what I did in South Carolina. And then when I got older, I just fell in love with it, with whitetail hunting. And when I got to be 15, I kind of hung the rifle up, got a bow, and started bow hunting, and just made every possible mistake you can make. And just, I've always been real serious about it. Even when I was little, I would keep a journal and stuff about deer, and it's just always been a huge part of my life, and just absolutely love it. And then as I got older, able to travel and then, get into some other things, and got invited to be part of a couple TV shows, and then ended up going in partnership with a guy on a TV show, and grew the business. And it's just been a lot of fun. And anytime you can make your I guess your passion, your vocation, it's not a bad deal.
I think that's something that's super cool, is that even at a young age you kept a journal, and even now, me being 30, like I've talked about it the last 2 years. I want to keep a hunt journal, like what the moon phase is, the temperature, the wind direction, the speed, what I saw, where I sat, just so I can look back. And, Cody and I have even talked in 20 years, we're going to read that thing and be like, we had some baller seasons, but,
yeah.
I find that very cool that even at a young age and just new to hunting, that you were still able to do that and keep up with it.
Yeah, I just, and being able to pull on that history, this is kind of new, but it's been going on forever. You kill a big deer in an area, or you see one, or he shows up on cameras that you may have left out or something like that, and you've got a journal of what was going on then. The next year or the year after, if you get those same tight conditions or whatever, another deer or that same deer could show up again around that same time. So I know it's kind of over the top, but for guys like y'all and me and like-minded guys, we're trying to take our game to the next level and just get better as hunters. And those little things like that can really, really improve your success.
Yeah, anything to have a little notch on your side of luck is good. So if you got the intel of why it was there, the weather, it might not mean anything, but it might be like when I killed Freeze, only there on a southeast wind, and then I killed him on a south wind. So just goes to show you, only time I ever had him on camera, south wind, killed him on a south wind. Only time he can go through the property. So those small details from 2-3 years past all tie together to tell a big picture.
Yeah, that's it. Those little micro details bring the whole picture into play. No doubt.
All right, well, let's get into why we had you on. You're starting a new YouTube, which I'm going to follow pretty hardcore. I really like the idea of it. And it's Joe Myles Hunting YouTube, at Joe Myles. Go ahead and dig into that and why you're doing it, and let the listeners know, because I know our following base is really going to like that.
Yeah. I'm 45 now, and I've been hunting whitetail with a bow for over 30 years, and have had some success, and have made every possible mistake that you can make. And I won't mention any names here, but when I was 17, 18 years old, I bought all these back then. Y'all have to excuse me. Y'all are younger than me. The VHS tapes of one particular guy. And I watched every single one of them, and I went out and I did everything he did, and I didn't kill anything. And I thought I was the worst hunter in the world. And come to find out, he's hunting in a 70-acre pen. And he's using sponsor gear that he's getting paid to use. And I didn't put those dots together. And after getting into the TV industry, and I'm not bashing the TV industry, just for me, for guys that are young or really wanting to get better, there's some flawed stuff there. And I just thought it was time to do a no BS. This is what works. This is what we're testing. Not sponsored, not paid. I want to get better. I mean, on the trail camera test this year, I really didn't know, right? I had no idea what the best one was. And if I had to bet before I did it, I would have said Reconyx was the best. That's all I've heard my whole life. Reconyx.
Yeah.
And I'm kidding you. The Browning, the little $170 Browning, outperformed the Reconyx in almost every category. And I mean, you can run two of those for one Reconyx. Anyway, that's why I wanted to get into it, is just really to help guys bring value and make it real. Transparent, nothing skewed by sponsorship dollars or free gear or anything like that. So that was the point of the channel.
Yeah, I dig that, man. For guys like us, if you're watching TV, you see this guy, he's doing it, and if maybe you have only tried one camera brand, you're like, man, these guys are killing deer. The pictures look good, and then you try it, and you're like, man, this is worse than the stuff I had before. You know what I mean? So,
right.
It's nice to have someone out there that's trying stuff, and like you said, you're unsponsored, unbiased, and you're literally trying to help the consumer say, hey, don't read this market BS. This is what I'm seeing, and maybe I'll save you a couple $100 from buying the wrong product. Because I mean, there's so many hunting companies out there. It's hard to keep up these days. You know what I mean? So finding a solid product and then them not discontinuing what you like is hard. It's hard.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you find something you like, a trail camera they like, and they're like, yeah, we're discontinuing that. You're like, what are you doing to me, man? I ran this for 5 years. Don't be doing this to me. I need this security.
Yeah. No, I get that. It just, to me, it's so important. You know, deer hunting is such a big part of my life, and you have limited time, right? You have a limited time. You have a limited season. You're away from your family. For guys that want to be hardcore and want to be serious about it, they want to use the best stuff, the stuff that's going to work, and that's. You know, I learn every day, and every day there are new products that come out. Every year you walk through the ATA show and you see new products or new broadheads, new arrows. And that whole process, to me, is what's so fascinating. This year I've really tried to get into the archery side of it. That was something that was a little lacking in my game. I mean, I was proficient and could kill deer, but I really wanted to dive into, you know, the different arrow setups, the FOCs, the super tuning, the bare shaft tuning, stuff that I, you know, was lacking in my game. And it was a lot of fun, you know, figuring it out, actually testing, you know, all the mechanical broadheads and which ones failed, which ones performed. And it's a lot of fun. You know, it's a lot of fun. And I really think it's going to help guys.
Yeah, I think it's going too. And like you said, it would be fun, man. You can see all the marketing going on, but until you try it yourself, you don't know how solid it is. You know what I mean? Hopefully you can trust the people that are marketing to the brand. But like you said, a lot of time in the industry, it's just who's throwing the biggest money around to a lot of guys. So,
or who's just staffing for who.
Yeah,
you know what
who's
I mean?
staffing
like,
for who. Or
if you were to put a post on social media, you're going to get everybody from that company just, you know, shouting them out. And it's not,
and
I mean, they might believe
yeah.
it and it's fine, but it might not be what's best for you, you know? And I like to do a whole bunch of research before I buy anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not broke by any means, but I just am a tight ass is my problem, you know?
He is a tight ass.
Yeah, me too, brother. I feel you there. I do. I've got a rad power bike. They're like $1,500. And they're not a Rambo bike or a Quiet Cat or anything like that, but it gets my big ass around
Yeah.
the woods. So.
Yeah, whatever it takes to get the best thing you can at the best price. I'm a little less tight if I can. I just want solid stuff. If the stuff is shit, I just won't even use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't. It drives me crazy. But
Yeah, if it's solid, I don't mind spending the
Yeah,
money for it.
yeah.
But if it's gonna be junk,
yeah, you're like, man, this is just.
you're like, well, there was $80.
I made a purchase this year, and I'm like, man, it's on the edge of like, am I gonna actually use this thing, or am I just gonna buy something else? You know what I mean? And the marketing was there; it looked good, and then you get it in the mail, you're like, oh man, this isn't what I thought it was.
Yeah, I get that.
All right. Well, you also had another announcement coming out. I got to see a little sneak peek of it going on. But go ahead and let the people know about the new camo line that you got coming out, because that's kind of a more budget-friendly, high-quality camo garments.
It is. You know, I've been involved with a couple of different hunting product companies from investment standpoint and then from business growth as well, but I always wanted to get into the apparel business. I just from a tree stand bow hunting whitetail perspective, I've just never been happy with any of the camo patterns that are out there. Now, granted, guys kill big deer in flannel shirts and blue jeans. I get that. Guys kill deer in the digital camo. They kill deer in the sticks and leaves or the real tree and mossy oaks. I get that. There've been a ton of deer killed, and I've killed big deer and all that stuff. But again, we're talking about getting inches and trying to get the best stuff we can get. And so I just never liked the camo that was on the market, and I never felt like I blended. And I hunt a lot of different areas and a lot of different states, and you know what might work here in South Carolina, you know, might not work up in your area in Illinois, right? So it's something that I was just thinking about. And as crazy as this story is, this is exactly how it happened. I'm walking through an oak flat last October scouting, and two giant horned owls are fighting above me at 10 o'clock in the morning. And one of them swoops down and lands in a tree about 45 yards away from me, and he vanishes. I mean, completely vanishes up against the tree. And I start walking over to him, and he starts bobbing his head around, and he flies to another tree and lands, and he vanishes again, and the light bulb goes off. I'm like, that's the most badass, quiet tree predator in the woods. I mean, it was just amazing, the camouflage on this thing. So I actually leave the woods, drive home, call a veterinary friend of mine, and I'm like, what kind of eyesight do squirrels have? What kind of eyesight do rabbits have? You know, everything that an owl eats. And he goes, man, I don't know. And I said, well, find out. Find out. So he calls a biologist at the zoo, and they talk to these professors, and come to find out, deer, rabbits, squirrels, those type prey animals have very, very similar eyes. They're dichromatic eyes, different obviously than a human's eyes, but very similar. Now, obviously, owls don't eat deer, but I said, all right, if a rabbit and a squirrel see the same as a deer, and an owl is made by nature to catch those little bastards, that camouflage has got to work. So I went to work on that pattern. I got a bunch of pictures of owls, and got with a really high-end graphic artist that had done a couple camouflage patterns in the past. And he and I worked tirelessly on this and worked on the shadows and the depth. And, man, when I got the first sample in, I ran out and wrapped it around an oak tree. And then I got the other premium brands and wrapped their shirts around that oak tree. And I looked at it, and it blew me away. And then I took it to a pine, and then I took it to a cedar, and then I sent it all over the different areas, you know, Kentucky, Kansas. And it just, man, it doesn't matter where you are, it blends into the tree. And us as bow hunters that hunt out of tree stands, it is going to help us hide better. So I knew I had the camo pattern just absolutely nailed. The next phase was getting super high-end gear, getting the clothing, the fabrics. And I was very fortunate, a guy that was one of the founders of the Hook and Nomad line. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Hook fishing line and the Nomad apparel line. Have y'all heard of that?
Yeah. Nomad, yeah. Not Hook, okay. Though, but Nomad, yeah.
He's got plants, and that's what he did, is he sourced fabrics all over the world and had manufacturing facilities. So we went to work and, you know, went through the line. I wanted an early season pant, an early season top, a mid-season grid fleece hoodie, a mid-season vest, and then a really heavy jacket and a really heavy set of bibs for the first year with hats and gloves. And so we worked like crazy to get it all put together. And from a business model standpoint, I wanted to go customer direct so that it could save guys some money. You know, if you're buying something off the shelf in a Bass Pro or a Cabela's, you're paying an extra 30-40% for that. And if you go straight to the consumer with the product, you know, you're able to save the guys 30-40% off of a premium brand. So that was the model we wanted to do, and I think it fits right in with what we're doing, you know, in the industry now with the no BS, no sponsors, giving you the real deal. And so if we can save guys some money on their hunting clothes and help them kill more deer, that's what we're all about.
Owls are super badass. Like, you don't see owls very often. Like, you hear them and then you're looking around like, oh, you're like, oh, and then it's like, you don't see them, so you're like, oh shit, there's an owl. You know what I mean? Like, you just, and they are super bad. They're just super cool animals. You know what I mean?
No, they're unbelievable.
And then direct to consumer is super smart, man.
I was gonna say, it just seems like almost daily there's a new company or another company just going right to consumer.
Yeah,
you know,
that's the way to do it.
Just cutting the bottom out.
Online, so prevalent. Everybody knows how to order.
I would say that's what everybody's doing now. So why not?
I don't go to Bass Pro. I haven't been to Bass Pro in months. You know what I mean? And it used to be like, oh, I love going to Bass Pro. I walk around, look at everything.
Did you say that just because COVID?
No, no. How long has it been open? I don't even know. That's how long. I don't even know if it was closed or open.
I don't know.
I ain't been there forever. You know what I mean? If the only time I go there, if there's like, I want to look at a tree stand, maybe. You know what I mean? I
It was
like
like a screaming deal on arrows or something.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
like to see a tree stand built so I can kind of look at it before. It's hard to see what they are in a box, man. But
No,
yeah, yeah, I'm excited to see the brand come out, and
Yeah.
good call on the bibs too, man.
Bibs are the way to go.
Bibs are
for
so
sure.
stat in the winter. There's just something about that chest covering holds
Yeah.
your warp so much
my
better.
South Carolina ass freezes when I get up there in y'all's country, so I gotta have something warm.
Hey, we freeze our asses off here too.
Yeah.
It's just cold up here, man. I don't.
Yeah.
You might be more tolerant than me because I get cold as hell, man.
Dude,
You know,
Yeah.
we had 2 hunts last year.
Oh.
Absolutely froze. One was November 11th, and the other one was like December 13th or 12th or something. Absolutely froze our
November
ass
11th,
off.
snow on the ground, heavy snow. We're all wet, winds blowing. 2 does come in. I'm like, all right, this is the moment. This is the moment. Something's running through the woods. We're like, oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
right here, 25 yards, 6-pointer. I'm like, oh, man. I've got that 6-pointer on cam 28 times.
It is my favorite raw clip from last year.
I'm like, get ready. 6-pointer. The look of disgrace on my face
Yeah.
is probably awesome. I'm like,
Cody's just like, damn it. Just right on cam. It is hilarious.
got your bow off the tree.
oh,
your hook
yeah.
ready to roll.
I was full ready. I was probably have my release on the
Like,
bow.
I just seen the deer running through the woods. I didn't know what it was yet, but Cody was just so damn ready. It, like, got me jacked up running the camera. I'm like, holy shit, it's about to happen.
I was like, oh, this is it, man. They're going out. He's chasing these does. We're in the spot.
Yeah.
6-pointer.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, but that's normally how all our hunts go.
Just really high for about 30 seconds and then straight to the shitter.
80-inch 8-pointer. Sweet. If you want to kill a 90-inch 8-pointer in Illinois, I'm your man. I got that on lockdown.
I got you. Yeah, that's I can return the favor maybe down here. I can get you in a wood lot with about 45 walker hounds running deer every different direction.
Yeah, I don't even know if I want to go to South. If anybody listens to South Carolina, props to you guys for killing anything down there. He was telling us the laws and regulations, and man, you guys got it tough down there. So
It is tough. Before we got going here, we were talking, and our rifle season comes in August 15th. You can shoot 5 bucks. The rifle season runs until January 1st, and then still parts of South Carolina you can run deer with dogs, believe it or not. They turn hounds out to chase the deer, and so it makes for a interesting bow season, or for guys that want to try and bow hunt. But we still kill a few, and it's a lot of fun. These swamp bucks, you kill a 120, 130, 4-year-old, 5-year-old here in the swamps of South Carolina. It's fun to hunt them. It is, I've hunted a lot of stuff all over, and these deer are probably one of the most challenging animals to hunt and with a bow that there is. They're tough, but it is a lot of fun, and I love it. It's where I grew up, so it's part of what we do.
yeah, I couldn't imagine having a gun season that long in Illinois.
Oh, you'd be happy as hell.
I'll tell you this, I would double.
Quarter would have gotten blasted.
Yeah, I would double buck every year. I guarantee that. If I could have had a gun, there'd be room to sit in the studio. There'd be so
it'd
many
be
bucks
full
on
up.
the wall. Same for you.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times we got a video 60, 70 yards, just a giant.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, gonna have to step up.
That's like my bow hunting career is just about the 70, 75 yard
Yeah.
mark, just right
and that's
there.
where
Just,
that's like we always say, like that's when you're like you can get close to them, but you can't kill them, and that's the stage we're at now, where every year we're right on the edge, but we need to get those final details to seal the deal. So
Yeah, I feel like I'll have a handful of those encounters at that 70, 75 yard mark, but I feel like I just got one within 30. That's my opportunity for the
Yeah.
year with a bow. And
Yeah.
like you have that one chance to get it done, and if you mess it up, you mess it up. Like you're probably
it.
done.
we keep getting better every year. So this
Yeah.
is the year, right? We say that every year, but this is it. But
Yeah, and that's it. You guys are young, man, and y'all are hunting hard and getting after it, and that's what it takes. I mean, if you're getting within 70 yards of big deer every year, I mean, you're there. You're there. It's just picking the right tree. I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah, that's what we.
I say, and that's something that we've really talked about too, is
Yeah.
finding the perfect tree
Finding
in
the
the
tree.
perfect area.
We know the area. We just got to figure out the trees. And then last year we did the thing where we ran cams all year and didn't touch them at all.
Yep.
A lot of them, and that's like a game changer for this year. We got so many plans of what we're going to do and all the intel from what the bucks did, like moving 2 miles, and we got them on cam over here, and like, well, that's why we were hunting over here and they weren't there. They were, so
Yeah.
we got a lot more stuff to go off of, and that just listen to this podcast, and this guy's like, well, run cams all year, then I'm like, all right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just leave them out there, you know what I mean? And
Intel, man, Intel. That the trail camera revolutionized things for us. I mean, truly. I mean, it just as much intel as you can get. I mean, not to get crazy off subject, but you look at the Navy SEALs or the Special Forces when they go in after somebody. These guys don't make a move at all until they have the intel and know exactly what they're getting into, and you can transfer that over to whitetail. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but for me, gathering as much intel as you can, using cameras or from observation spots before you move in for the kill, that's the key. That is absolutely the key.
Yeah, that's what we're learning. Try to get as much intel, even if it's not from the same year. One thing we say a lot on here is if there's nice bucks in that area, they're in there for a reason. There'll be nice bucks in there again if you can learn how to hunt that area. But what I do need is homie, our drone, just hook up some like thermal stuff on there and go in there.
Now we're talking.
All right, there's a little heat over here.
Yeah.
We do it
Coon every time.
Yeah, just a coon in a tree every time.
No, but last year I had 2 hunts that I went on, and it was because of previous data based off of trail camera data from the previous 2 years, and just wasn't so reluctant that history didn't repeat itself 3 times. But just the mindset of going into that hunt was a lot different than it is just going into just going hunting,
Yep.
Because you feel like you really got a chance to get it done, and you got a reason and a purpose to be there. But really, you need to approach every hunt like that and take all the circumstances, the weather, if you want to go off the moon or, off your trail cameras, you got to take all that into account and approach every hunt and where you pick to sit is your best chance to get it done.
Yeah.
Confidence, man. If you've got confidence in your set, it's gonna make you stay longer. It's gonna make you more focused. Every little bit of that it tips the scales. When you're kind of second guessing things, you get a little bit cold. You get out of there 30 minutes before you should have. Confidence. The mental part of hunting is a huge part of it. But you touched on something earlier that is absolutely right. If you kill a big deer, if you figure one out in an area, whether it's a giant farm or a small woodlot or a little teeny public place, whatever it is, if you kill a 4.5, 5.5-year-old buck in a spot, there is a reason he was there. He was there for a reason. He felt safe. He felt comfortable traveling through there in daylight, whatever it may be. And it's common sense, right? I mean, he was there for a reason, and you killed him there. So what do? You look for areas like that, or you go back there during the same time. And a lot of times, the previous 3-year-old is 4 years old, or a 4-year-old is 5-year-old. He's moved into that area. And as long as you can keep the human interference and keep things the same, there's a real good chance when you kill a big one in a spot, there'll be a big one in there in the future with all things being the same. I had a spot in Illinois that anybody that likes to whitetail hunt could have. It was a little teeny place, and I killed 3 slammers back to back to back, and would still be doing it today if I still had access to that property. It was a slam dunk, no brainer, teeny little piece that you paid just a little teeny bit to have it, but it was just perfect. And you can find those places; they're out there.
I've been there. I had a little teeny fire piece once. I killed back to back. Phil killed 4 from 129 to 193 off
Good
21 acres.
3 with a bow and 1 with a gun.
3 with a bow and the big one with a gun, of course. But yeah, it was just one of those pieces, man. And then 2 years, it was the exact same. 3rd year, it switched up a little bit. 4th year, light switch, because people knew I was killing deer there, so they kept getting closer.
Yeah.
Closer and closer.
That's it. No doubt. No question about it.
So
the human interference, Don Higgins talks about I think he calls it human intrusion, but it's amazing. I mean, I've got a buddy right now, he's got a big farm down here, big family farm in South Carolina, and he's been quarantined for COVID. And I went down and hung out with him because I'm way too tough to catch COVID. So,
Hell yeah.
he and I were riding around his farm, and the first day we rode into his duck pond. He's got one of these duck impoundments, and there were probably 7 or 10 pretty nice bucks for South Carolina in there. And by day 4, we rode back in there. They were all gone. They were coming out in the evenings to eat the sorghum and the millet that was planted in there, and they hadn't been disturbed all summer. And so they were out there at like 7 in the afternoon. We drove in there, ran them out, and by day 4, there was not a single deer in that field. You have to leave them alone. You can't let them know that you're hunting them. That is human intrusion or human interference, whatever you want to call it, is the number one thing to screw you up.
Yeah, that's one thing we try to do the best on our private is we just try to space it out, man. That's why we picked up all this public ground.
Mm-hmm.
People were like, why are you hunting public? I'm like, well, for one, most of our biggest deer are on public for some reason. And for 2, our private pieces aren't big enough. If you walk into, we call it one Booner Town, if you walk in there and go halfway in, the whole property's been affected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not big enough to hold. Now, our other property is much bigger that we got this year, so you could hunt the north draw and you wouldn't affect any of the other stuff. You know what I mean? So that's one you could probably hunt for 3-4 days straight and bounce some stands. But we see it every year. We start hunting. We won't hunt all October on Boonertown. We go in there 4 or 5 times. Deer just leave.
Yep.
They just leave.
Yep.
You got to get it done in the first 10 hunts on that place, or you're done. It's just over. So,
and we'll be getting excited, because we'll have deer getting really close to daylight or something, on some scrapes or on cam. We'll go in there and pull cams, and we'll have deer getting close. So we start sending out some pics, and everybody's like, "Why aren't you in there? Trying to get them? Cold front this and that." And it's like, it's just not right. Like it has to be perfect there in order for it to happen. Mm-hmm. And that's something that we've learned, and we've really been disciplined to stay off of it in October, because it's just, unless everything is absolutely perfect, which it hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, that's it, man. And if a lot more guys knew that and followed that principle, they'd be a lot more successful. I think that's the number one mistake guys make, and the number one mistake I used to make was over hunting stuff, because I'm so excited, I want to go so bad, but sometimes you just have to stay out.
Yeah, that's it, man. Sometimes you just a lot of people say you either got to risk it all or stay out.
Yeah,
there's like no in between. And that's where we play the fence a lot. As we play the in between game, we're setting those like 20% chances where we're 100% safe, but there's a 20% chance a shooter could come by. You know what I mean? And it's because we want to hunt. If we got a day to hunt, we're weekend warriors. We take 2 weeks off straight in the rut, and other than that. Is it next year we get 3 weeks? Or a year after? We're almost got 3 weeks, which is going to be epic. But,
yes. There's going to be some stuff that hits the ground.
Yeah.
God, I hope
there might be another state in 3 weeks, you would think. My gosh. But anyways, we're weekend warriors all the way through October. But we're every chance we can get, And then sometimes you can sneak out of. This year, we should be able to get a lot of hunts in after work.
Yeah.
So not a lot of overtime because all this COVID stuff going on. So we're able to get out a little early, and And I don't know, is Illinois doing daylight savings time?
I haven't
Is that
heard anything about that.
There was some myth that Illinois wasn't going to do daylight savings time, and if that would be the case, we'd be primo. You know what I mean?
For a
'Cause
You would be, those afternoon hunts would be awesome.
yeah, when that daylight saving times hit, you're done hunting
Kills
the
you.
afternoons. You
Kills
killed.
you.
So, but all right, man. Well, we got a little bit more time with you. You've hunted multiple states and all over the place. I would like to talk about your $3 on one property. I know that there's some strategy there to kill them year after year after year. You know, giants like that, and then let alone all the other giants that you've killed. But if you could tell, you know, a new hunter maybe 5 things that could make him more successful overall, or even an experienced hunter, you know, what would those be?
5 things. Okay. Well, let's just start. I think you got to be really proficient with your gear and have a really good setup as far as archery is concerned. Don't skimp on that stuff, and make sure you're ultra proficient with your bow. That would be kind of number one, and maybe that's common knowledge. But man, I hear a lot of guys say, "Well, I'm just not a good shot. You know, I'm good out to 20. Well, no, you need to make sure you're a great shot, and you need to make sure your setup's right. You need to make sure things are tuned, and that you've got a really good broadhead and everything works well. So that would be number one. I think number 2 is you need to buy some Osseo gear camo, because that's definitely going to help. No, I'm kidding. I think another thing is let's instead of a guy that just wants to go out and have fun, I'm going to look at this as a guy that's really serious about it. I think you've got to start getting the intel and keeping the data from when your season starts until when it ends. You've got to keep wind direction. You've got to keep barometric pressure. You've got to keep the moon position. I'm not big on the moon phase, but the position of the moon is big. That Deer Hunter's Moon Guide is a great tool to use. So you keep the data, because then when you pull your trail cameras and you find that big deer, you're able to look back and see how he was moving, when he was moving, and what he felt comfortable with. Number 3, you guys touched on this earlier. Get as many trail cameras as you can get. Leave them out. They don't do you any good sitting in your truck or sitting in your hunting room or in your house. Get them out there. Have them running. That would be number 3, because then you can gather as much intel as you can. Number 4 is get off your butt and get new places to hunt. Nobody can have enough places to hunt. I used to drive to Illinois in the summer and try and find new spots to hunt in the summer. I would drive all the way out there and stay in a little flea bag hotel and just ride around, knock on doors, meet farmers and diners. You've got to work hard at finding places to hunt, and don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to save some money. Have a hunting kitty so you can get you a little lease. But that would be a number 4, is get as many places to hunt as you can get. You guys hunt some public, down here in South Carolina, there's not a lot of opportunity for that. I have hunted public in Illinois, but again, a guy that wants to be successful, you need as many places as you possibly can to hunt. And then number 5, always think about things when you've got all that dialed in. Think about it from the deer's point of view. What is he doing? What does he need? What is he trying to accomplish? When you set your stand up or you set your spot, why are you doing that? And make that determination. Don't just walk into the woods and throw your stand up because there's an oak tree sitting there. What are you doing? Where is the deer coming from? Where is he going? Why is he doing that? When do I think he's going to do it? Formulate that plan. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. You've learned something, and then you can change. But every time you go into the woods, go with a purpose, have a plan for what you think that deer is going to do, and then execute that plan. And if it doesn't work, tweak it, make another plan, and that's how you learn. And then eventually it'll all come together and your plans will start working, and you'll start knocking some big ones down. So those are the 5 things. I hope that's helpful.
Man, that was super solid. That was like right off the rip. I was like, I'm just throwing this guy, throwing him right to the wolves. But you crushed it, man. That a lot of that's just, a lot of it seems like it's stuff that you should do, but like just like me and homie thinking, we run a lot of cams, but we're not really good at keeping the data. You know what I mean? We get a buck on cam. We're like, okay, he was here this day, but I couldn't tell you right off the rip wind direction, what the moon phase was. And then, like you said, okay, he's on the cam. This is something we do good about. He's on the cam. Why is he on the cam? I think a lot of people just get a picture. They're like, oh, here's a giant buck. But you got to think, okay, why is he there? There's, and a lot of times there's no good reason at all, but it's stuff that you need to hold in your mind, because I must be weird. I think about it all the time. I'm like, oh, yeah, we got this buck on cam. It's like Tuesday in March. You know what I mean? I'm like, why is that deer there? You know what I mean? And just the other day, I called homie. I said, what do you think about this? What do you think if the bucks are doing this? And homie's like, yeah, they very well could be doing that. And it's just, you just keep rolling it in your mind. You think about the property. You're like, and then you're looking at the maps. I'm like, then jokers are doing this right here.
Yeah.
Probably 98% wrong. But there's a 2% chance we're going to go in there and crush. And I'm going to be like, yep, knew it the whole time. Knew it.
Knew it, man. I mean, talking about this, fires me up still. I mean, I've been doing it forever, but this conversation fires me up. I want to get my log out and make sure I got everything dialed in.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's part of that process, and that's the whole thing. You hear these guys talk about the process in other sports and football, and you got to love the process, and we do. Well, I think you guys do, and I do, and that's all part of it. And again, it's those little things that are gonna set you apart or help you be more successful. And you got to do them. You got to trim that one extra limb. You got to hang that one extra stand. You got to knock on that one other door. But man, that's how you guys know this. That's how you get better at anything. If you're a weightlifter and you do one more rep or I'm throwing random stuff out here, but it doesn't matter what it is. If you work hard at it and you think about it and you're smart about it and you get after it and it's really part of your life, you can be good at it.
Yeah, one thing I want to go back to on your 5 things of getting it done, or
5 things to be a good hunter.
Okay.
Proficient.
It's just number 1. Be good with your gear. I think more people are shooting their bow more often earlier in the year, or continuing to shoot through the season. And one thing that I noticed here is just on down in your list, you had pick up property, run an ass load of cams, which we're doing both of them, and we did pick up a new piece of property this year, thanks to Cody. And we were setting up a new set on it, a new double set, cameraman, hunter, stand. And I know the gear's different, but the process is the same of setting up, putting sticks up, hanging 2 stands. And when we do it while we're hunting on public, I know we have better gear, lighter gear, easier, but we were on the ground and then we're 18 feet in the air in 8 minutes while hunting last year.
Oh, that is wrong.
While we're hanging the new set on the new property, dude, it was like 35 minutes. You're just out of practice, you need to practice that shit and stay on top of it, and it can be the difference of you getting it done and you being ready 5 minutes earlier when that buck steps out that you have no idea is bedded 80 yards away.
Yeah.
And, the other hunter on the other property bumped him out, and now he's showing up, and it's 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, we're hanging a stand in July. We haven't hung anything since, December.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's the same process. Like you said, we got lighter gear that we're packing in and hanging, wherever. But, it's not that much heavier, and you're trying to get the ratchets to work, and you're trying to get the stick on the tree right, and you're like, in November,
boom.
I'm just up this thing, no big deal. You know what I mean?
It's perishable. Yeah, that skill is perishable.
Yeah, it is. You got to, the way you move in the tree, and then the way, we got a system when we prep. I prep the stuff, hand it, whoever's on the ground's prepping for the other guy, and I wasn't prepping real good out there.
Yeah, the second stick up, and that was
I
it.
had the second stick up. You know what I mean? And it's because I was like out there. You're in a hurry. You know what I mean? Like, oh, let's get up as quick as we can. You know, because we're always late, no matter what we do. Homie needs an extra 10 minutes at the truck.
Yes.
An extra 10 minutes of dark at the truck. He's just not a ripper in the morning.
Well, my problem is I've never had property close to me. I've always had to drive, 45 minutes to an hour. So I don't want to wear all my stuff in the truck because then I'll be sweating and then you're gone at 8:30 in the morning. I mean, you're gone.
Yeah.
So,
I'm like standing on the trail like, dude, this guy's never coming. I might as well.
I show up to Cody's house. He's always
Hunting
full
buddies,
camo.
man, they're the best.
Oh, yeah, we're savage to each other all year.
All right, let's ask Cody about how his hands were during turkey season because this guy was getting hammered.
Yeah, I was getting hammered.
During turkey season.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man.
Hey, there was snow on the ground.
There was
during
3
turkey
inches of
season.
snow.
It was freezing out.
That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the best thing about hunting together. And people ask us all the time why we hunt together. Man, it's just too much fun not to hunt the same tree and film and do the thing.
No, it is. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot.
I would say I can't imagine, going hunting and not. I mean, I've done it, but it's just not the same. Like when I was on that second week of vacation last year, it's just,
that had to be brutal by
yeah,
itself.
it's just brutal as shit, just sitting there all day.
Yeah.
It's,
no one calling you out for stuff you're doing
yeah, it's
all
like,
day.
like, really? Did you just drop that water bottle? Yeah, I did, bro. I mean, wait.
So, all right, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on, and this has been awesome. We covered, a lot of good stuff you got going on, and props to you for stepping away from the industry and doing your own thing. I know that took some guts, and you had a really solid thing going, and you're finally like, all right, it's time to do the right thing for the viewers and the consumers. And like I said, I'm gonna be checking out this camo brand. We're in the market for some different camo.
Mm-hmm.
We were partnered with a company, and we left that, and we're just in the stage of trying a bunch of stuff to see what we like, kind of like you are, you know what I mean? And we've ran a couple different gears. We like a couple of them, but we haven't picked a solid one yet. So I'll be checking it out when it comes out. And like I said, appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, it'll be on the website. It'll be e-commerce or direct to consumer. It's ICO Gear, ASIOGEAR.com, ICOgear.com, and we are fired up about this launch. We cannot wait to get it there for guys to see it.
Yeah, nice. It's always cool when a new company launches. Like I said, there's a lot of companies out there, but it's if you can get a solid one that you're like, okay, this gear is good, you know what I mean? And it sounds like you got some quality gear, and that's what guys like us need. Like I said, a lot of guys don't mind spending the price if it's good stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then there's the level of like, man, that price is too much, you know what I mean? There's a stage. So, but all right, man. Well, this has been an awesome episode. I appreciate you coming on.
No, thank you all so much. I appreciate it, and let's definitely keep in touch throughout the season and knock some big ones down.
That right there is what we call a solid podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, that was fun. We got to get in there, cut up a little bit, talk some deer hunting. You can tell this guy knows what he's doing. He's got it going on, and he's a good talker. And I feel like you could learn a lot from this. You should have a podcast. I feel like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I really gonna enjoy his YouTube. A guy that was in the industry, had it made, was doing the thing, living off hunting, and said, "I'm done. I'm backing out, and I'm gonna do my own thing, and I'm gonna test product and not be sponsored." And not take the money to use this brand or whatever. That's honorable right there, man.
Yeah.
Because we know a lot of hunting groups that shoot one animal with one thing and switch the arrows to a different arrow, and it's a bad thing about the hunting TV industry. You can't trust about half the shit that's on there.
I would say it's very easy to manipulate whatever you need to manipulate.
All right, well, you guys know what to do by this time. Always do the right thing. Try to leave a legacy, and Whitetail Legacy is out.